through the chaos of life. Wow, we all got chaos in it. So I had to clarify what chaos means in our life. Here's the definition. See if this resonates with any of you. Here's the definition of chaos: disorder, confusion, disarray, disorganization, confusion, mayhem, bedlam, pandemonium, havoc, disruption, upheaval, uproar, mess, muddle, free for all, a train wreck, or all hell broke loose. Okay? That's what's actually in there. That was it. So I'm thinking about this. This is chaos. So I'm thinking about, this is like our lives sometimes, right? Is that right, Judy? Oh, yeah. I mean, Judy can relate to that right now. Because at different times, one of those words fit. And for me, sometimes everything fits, right? At one time, this is the way it goes. And what I know about that is, it's not a bad thing. It might seem like it is, and that's what I want to talk about today. It kind of, when you're in it, it feels like it's a bad thing, but it's not. It's part of life, and it's okay. It's perfect order, and everything is in its right place. There's a Zen code that says, the snow falls each flake in its appropriate place. Kind of take that in. Because whatever's going on in your life right now, and I have a feeling that we all have some stuff happening in our life right now, it's appropriate. Might be painful, might not be the way that you want it to look, but it is appropriate. Each snowflake in its appropriate place. So my yard has always been my spiritual teacher. It's one of them, besides my grandkids and the animals and everything. It's really where I get a lot of nourishment. So I look outside, and in my backyard, I've got, like, the middle section is all perfectly manicured, right? Beautiful, and it's, green and pretty, and we keep it mowed down. But on the perimeters is like this rainforest, right? I love it. It's got these big banana trees, and there's a bunch of stuff. Actually, this is part of it right here. But that's what I kind of want to talk about, because around the edges of that is this chaos of my, yard, right? And there's all sorts of rotting stuff. And out of the rotting stuff, there's a lot of stuff that's starting to grow that's beautiful. And the gardener keeps wanting to change and make everything pretty and perfect and manicured. And I go, no, don't touch this stuff. Just let it be organic. I love the organic feel of that. And I got to thinking about that, and that is so much our lives, right? We try to manicure it down, right? We try to keep our grass mowed so that everybody sees it and it looks pretty and stuff. But around the edges, sometimes we grow organically, and it's so true in my life that I find that in this rainforest area, I like to call it, because it's just, crazy out there. The kids play in their cats and the dogs, and there's nests out there, and there's this hidden harmony and a sacredness. And what I know is that there's a higher order in which everything in that little foresty area has its own sacred place. Its own sacred place. It's as orderly as the green grass is. It just is different, see? To our eyes, and this Eckhart Tolle talks about this, and it made me think about this. Eckhart Tolle says that, we as a species, or especially as Americans, that we keep our grass, perfect, and we like our parks manicured, and everything's all neat and orderly. And when the truth is that's not the way of life, right? But that we gotta cut it down immediately. And that's exactly what we do. Everything is gotta be planned. And he said that our parks and our yards are all planned thought, versus the organic of nature of the forest area and of those areas that we just let go. And I thought about that so much in our life, is that the chaos of our life, we try to control it, right? We try to control it so that we can appear to be okay, right? So that it looks pretty good. We'll keep our grass, to a beautiful level. We try to do that with our lives instead of saying, wow, this is chaos going on right now. This is what's happening in our life right now. But here's what I know, is that it's through the change of the chaos that the transformation of our lives take place. This new growth, a new you happens. And I always think about it as whatever's going on in our life, that is kind of chaotic and hurtful and painful, is this launching pad almost. We don't see it, but it's a launching pad for a new you, for a whole new way of life. Sometimes we don't want a way of life. I like my old life, But the truth is, the the universe is pushing us forward, you know, but it's through the change that we grow. We either get it. Now here's what I know in my life, this is interesting, is that, and I'm sure it happens in your life where you get these little nudges that something's just not quite right, that you ignore it, and you keep ignoring it, you know, well, you know, this is okay. Or you get a big cosmic boot, and you get booted right out of the life that you thought you knew. Right out of the life that you thought that you knew. I've had both happen in my life. And sometimes those little nudges I've ignored, and then later the boot came out and said, you know what, you're out of here. You know, here's your new life. And what I know is that it's hurtful, it's messy, it's chaotic, but boy, did I transform and did I grow through it. And guess what? It happens when I don't have time for it. That's when it happens, right when I think everything's fine and I have my life on target. And then all of a sudden, here it comes. Judy says all the time, it came without my permission. Boy, is that it came without our permission. That's so true. We didn't give it permission and we didn't want it, but boy, it's there. But guess what? We are swept up in a process that is so natural. No matter what's going on in your life, it's okay, it's normal. It's like that cocoon in the butterfly, you know, that there's so much mess in there until you fly. That's what we're in, it's very natural. But what I know is it's not smooth, it's not gradual, and it's not always under control, but it's there. That's what happens to us. You know, when I look back at my life and I think, you know, when were the big boots in your life? Now, some kind of thing in your life, as I talk about mine, I could probably name 3 or 4. You know, mine's probably started not when I was about 35. I got one big one, I got another one when I was 50, another one probably about 55, you know, and I probably some little ones in between. But these are the big ones that changed your life. And what I call them is growth by bifurcation. I want to talk about that for a minute. Yeah, bifurcation is taken from the field of science. You know, it's kind of like complexity theory and chaos theory. And computers show that through chaos, there's this bifurcation that occurs. A bifurcation, now think of this as your life. It's a fork in the road. It's when a bifurcation occurs, and sometimes the old ancient sages in China used to call them dragon holes. They were dragon holes. And when they occurred, you have reached a point in your journey that a decision has to be made, you know. Do we turn right or left? It's a fork in the road. What's going on with my life? You know, I think we had a bifurcation point when we had to leave Golden Circle, right? I had a bifurcation point or a dragon hole when my first husband said, I'm out of here, right? When my next husband got a terminal diagnosis, got a terminal diagnosis, that was a dragon hole. Do you understand what I'm saying? That was a point that changes your whole life, you know? And then it was when I had left my last spiritual community, Unity, that was a devastating time, and that was a dragon hole. See, these were points in our life that we have to come to terms with what's going on, and we make some changes in our life, you know? And so think about those in your life, because more often than not, we don't even see the need for a decision until we get those big points in our life. You know, we're so often caught up in the events of the bifurcation that they're so traumatic that as we approach this fork in the road, we close our eyes to the fact that our path is ending. You know, for me it was divorce. You know, I closed my eyes to any problem. My life was pretty good. I didn't see it. I didn't even see he had problems. You know, but as I look back, I did, but I was ignoring him at the time, right? And then the big cosmic boot came, and there I was. And that's what I'm talking about, is sometimes we ignore the warnings in our life before the transformation takes place. And before we know it, the insistence on keeping things the way they are, sticking to the original path, no longer exists. I didn't have the marriage anymore. How can I stick to it? Has that happened to you before? It's not there. You lost a job. It's gone. You know, what is it in your life? It's gone, you know, and we're unable to find our way back because the old life, the original life that you had, is gone, you know, and it's for ours to move forward, to be with that change and locate the highest part of you to get through it, you know, because the old path that we were traveling just doesn't exist anymore. So what do we do? What path do we follow? See, and here's what I know a lot of us do, and I think all of us have done this. We sit there at the bifurcation point, at this dragon point, and we're in confusion, and we don't know how to move forward, and we want to get unstuck, but we're there, we don't know, you know, but as long as we don't make a decision, and choose a new path, then guess what? Life chooses the path for us. It just moves us forward. It is much more likely that life will move us forward through the fork in the road, and decisions will be made for us by others or by life itself. It is our choice whether we allow this to happen or whether we fight it, wasting valuable energy which will be needed for the journey yet to come. You know, we can't fight what happens, right? What happens in life, we go with it. We align with our highest good and go with it. We make choices. We partner with the universe. We trust. So what's going on in your life, the big stuff, you know, I just remember being stuck in this point where I didn't think I could handle it any longer, and finally just went, save me, God. Help me, God. You know, help me. Show me what to do. And as you start to align, your life and your path starts to align with you. You know, there is something fundamental, you know, that is gone forever, and yet we mourn it and we mourn it, and yet that peace was always with us. Does that make sense? It's still there. It's the energy that moves us forward. You know, that's what midlife crisis is about. You know, too. And all of us go through some kind in our life. You know, it's messy. This stuff is so messy. It hurts. It's like, you know, we want stuff to be perfect. But we got to learn how to be in the messy part of life, because life is messy. And when we try to ignore it, it just doesn't work. You know? And in the messiness, this is what I know. It's in these messy times of my life, that's my creativity, right? That's where all of a sudden the ideas come and the stuff comes. I'm thinking of the messiness that we've been in with Common Ground. You know, at times we're going, oh my gosh, what are we doing? This is going on, this is going on, you know. And those have been where the ideas start to come. When all of a sudden life, you know, starts to align and those choices start to come out. You know, but we need to be messy to explore problems in our relationships or at work or to find solutions. And we need to feel comfortable, you guys, with the messiness in our life. Or else, you know, what we're going to be tempted to try to control the chaos, and that never works. It never works to try to control anything in life that is already happening. See, the chaos is where we make our greatest discoveries. It's where we really come alive. It's if we're willing to lean into it. So I thought about that, and I thought, boy, you know, the chapel here, you know, that came about as a point of my greatest discovery through a bifurcation between the chaos of my life. Here's the chapel. Here, my whole ministry, me being a minister, came because of chaos in my life with my second husband, right? He was diagnosed, you know, he was sick, and I needed to do something. And it's a long story, but this was here, right? And my second husband, the great discovery of my second husband, came from my rotten first husband. I'm kidding when I say rotten. But what I'm saying is, you know, his telling me, right, I gotta leave, you know, put me in a spot that I met this wonderful man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything is a launching point to the next thing in your life if you let it be. If you let it be. See, so you can look back at your life almost and see where those points were. What are those dragon holes, as they call them, are, where they were the launching pad for the next thing in your life that was good. And that's what we have to think when we're going through the pain. When we're going through the stuff in our life, and instead of, you know, you got to feel it, you got to feel bad, you know, that's just normal, we do that. But there comes a time when we got to get out of it, and we got to see that we can go forward. And we can go forward with lining with something bigger than us. There is something bigger than us in charge. There is something incredible that runs through every cell in our body that is infinite and eternal, and that's who we are. That's who we are. And that's in charge of us. It's in us. It's around us. So if anything is in your life, you turn to that and let that walk with you. We're not alone. You don't have to do your life alone. You don't have to be in chaos alone. We have all of us, right? But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something in you to get it through. I'm talking about the incredible God in you, or the infinite, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, is in you. You know, because everything in your life is a call for your spiritual growth. Everything you're going through. Just remember that. Right now, think of something in your life that seems painful. That's a call for spiritual growth. It is what will take you to your next level of transformation. I promise you that. I promise you that. Wherever your snowflake has fallen, it's perfect. Remember that. Wherever your snowflake has fallen, it is perfect. We're getting better, you guys. Even the world, we were in a class the other day, and the world, it feels like the world is getting worse. It's not. You know, we just see what's getting worse from the news and things. It's getting better. Life is getting better. The world is getting better. You know, this world is a far more loving, abundant, and beautiful place than we ever thought it could be. You know, through this chaos, all the stuff that we see, transformation happens. So that's my prayer for you, is that you see your life, you know, in process, that transformation is happening for you right now. Thank you.